First, welcome back to my channel today. I appreciate you being here and tuning in with me. I am excited this week. We are starting our brand new series, and it is job costing and working with CRMs, whether you are a bookkeeper, which is highly important, and then if you are a roofing company, to help you understand how QuickBooks and your CRM actually talk to each other and how they work together and how to fix and avoid mistakes between QuickBooks and really fully using your CRM as a roofing contractor. And the roofing CRMs that I'm going to be referring to are like AccuLinks, JobNimbus, RoofLink. Those are the three platforms that most of my roofing clients that I do bookkeeping and advisory services for, that they work on. So we want to know our job costs and our job profits. So this is the way to profits. So we're really going to break this down and figure out how you can implement it in your bookkeeping business with clients and in your roofing company as well. So I love job costing, and so I'm super excited about this. But I've worked with roofing companies for over 25 years and own my own roofing company, and most of them are not actually tracking job costing. They are not using job costing, and some that are, they aren't using it to its full benefit because there's a lot of moving parts in job costing. So what we want to do is do job costing with the information that we have, the systems that we have set up, so that we can get the most information we can out of it. Mistakes. You're trying to do job costing per job, but you don't have all your receipts. You don't have all the data that you need in order to fully do job costing. You may not even know what your overhead is. So it makes it really hard to do job costing when you don't have those things. The first thing we want to look at is, what is job costing? And job costing is a way for us to figure, like when we are pricing jobs, which is super important, what our costs are for that job, that one particular job to start with. And most people, they think about this just as like their material and labor. Most roofers just think material and labor. But there are a lot of different other job costing costs into that job besides that. So we're going to, through our 4-part video series, we're going to be breaking all of these down. But in a construction company, in a roofing business, it's extremely important to be doing some type of job costing as much as you can so that it makes sense for your company. Sometimes when I'm working with roofing contractors, they don't have the staff to email me all the receipts and get all the receipts in AccuLinks. So we just have to manage with what we have. And it's not worth the extra money to hire somebody just to keep track of those receipts for them and put them into a software program. They have the receipts, but then paying somebody to put them into a software program. So we're going to do it the best way that we can to be the most accurate that we can. And then we will know if we're making money on a job or what our average, profit over several jobs are, like in a month's period of time, what our gross profit was. And then if, you did 4 jobs over the month, whatever your gross profit is, you can just divide that by 4. And that's going to give you an average. It won't give you exactly per job, but it gives you an average. If you don't have the staff to get all the receipts in and get it in QuickBooks and get it in AccuLinks, JobNimbus, RoofLink, whatever CRM that you're using, or if you're only just using QuickBooks. So these are just some things to help us with that. And then our next question here is tracking income and expenses per job. And so there's a lot of ways that we can do this. The roofing companies I work with, they will put in, say, AccuLinks, the payments that they've received. I can look up those jobs that I'm looking at in AccuLinks with my job summary report that I have every week that I update. So it gives me an idea what's going on, so I don't have to ask a lot of questions to the roofing contractor. So this saves both them time and me time, but it works really well. But in QuickBooks, we can put income to a customer, we can put expenses to a customer, and so that's going to help us with our gross profit of knowing where everything is going, all the expenses that are coming out. And even when we see a job in AccuLinks, for instance, and then I see, okay, we have the job for $15,000, and then we already ordered material before we've even gotten a deposit yet on it. So this way I can update my sheet just to let them know that, okay, I'm going to be looking for this deposit coming through because we already ordered materials. And sometimes we have to do that because, like with ABC, we've got to get on their list so we can get the material delivered in time. We may have to do that a week ahead of time, 2 weeks, if they have to order special shingles or doors or windows or any special product we need in order to complete that job, because we want to complete that job just as soon as possible. And most roofing jobs only take 1 day, maybe they take 2 days. But if we're having to wait on windows, that could actually take us 2 or 3 weeks because we're waiting to get in the windows and making sure that they were the right size windows. And sometimes we have issues with that. So there's a lot of nuances that can come up with that. Why most people think it's harder than it is. And I think most people think it's harder than it is because you don't have all of those receipts in order and organized. And as a bookkeeper, you can't get all the receipts from the contractor. In that case, I'm going to do an average of what their profit is over how many jobs they did in that month. That's going to make it clear there. And we also have our accounts receivable in QuickBooks. We have accounts receivable and AccuLinks both. And this is not sponsored by AccuLinks. I'm just very familiar with AccuLinks and I like their system. So that's all. And AccuLinks, I can look up job reports, payments, expenses, all the communications on a job. And that also helps me. I can see, oh, we got a deposit on this job. It's just not showing up in the bank account yet. Or the expenses, I don't see any expenses on this job. So the roofers generally put everything in AccuLinks. I don't enter things into AccuLinks. I only look at reports and the data in there. So nothing gets confused with that. I just wait until they actually get the expenses in there. Then I can run a profit analysis on it. Then I can see where we are on that job too. But I can check different things with the job. And I can even sync over the invoices from AccuLinks into QuickBooks, because a lot of times the guys get busy and they didn't sync it over to QuickBooks before they even closed out the job, and then I have to open the job back up. So there's just some nuances in there. I won't go into that whole thing, but that is how we're doing income and expenses. Where most go wrong, like I say, they're trying to nitpick some of the things in there, but you want to work with what you have where it makes sense. So just use your discernment about what makes sense and how much, you have in material bills that are outstanding. Like you can log into ABC's website, their website, and you can see what your client, your roofing clients, how much they owe to ABC, all the open invoices, and all of those things. So when I am doing job costing, I am using AccuLinks or Job Nimbus or RooferLink. And then I'm also going into Beacon Supply or Banner, ABC Supply, Home Depot, or whoever they are using if I have that login access. And so that's always really helpful for me to get data. You cannot rely only on QuickBooks because we can only see what is coming in through the bank feed, what has cleared the bank as far as income and expenses go. And so that doesn't tell us like a whole lot. When we go into AccuLinks, we can look at the income and expenses there, payments there, and that's going to tell us some more. If we still want to know more about that job, I can go through the communications and I can tell like what's holding that job up, or when we're going to be expecting a check, or if we're waiting on Windows to come in or some other product to come in, or we're waiting on finance, or finance has been submitted. I do let the roofing company know if I see like with Service Finance that we receive money, then I'll go and let them know to this job number. I'll go and AccuLinks, look up the job number because I have my job summary, so I know where this money is. And then I will let them know we received the money from Service Finance. Okay. So that helps them because the roofing company also has to pay salesmen. So that's important to them that they know they can pay the salesman now because they have been fully paid on that job, or they've been paid a partial amount from a finance company on the job so they can pay their salesman. There's a lot of issues. The next thing is not connecting QuickBooks to the CRM to QuickBooks. So there's a few nuances there, and you have to go through some mapping and products and services and both of the softwares. And AccuLinks has a more complete mapping. Job Nimbus does have mapping, but we have to go in and make adjustments in QuickBooks so it puts all the income and the expenses exactly where we want it to go. It only sends it through a journal entry and it lands all up in one account, and we don't want it all in one account. We've got to disperse it through some different accounts, both income and expenses. And then not reviewing these jobs consistently. It's super, super important in order to keep up with the roofing company, especially in their busy season. They've got to go through the job summary and go through each one, see the money owed. And a lot of times when I get finished, I will do the deposits first and I'll get those cleared out. So then on my job summary, any of those accounts that owe money, I'll go back in and look up the jobs so I can see in AccuLinks if there's still a balance or not. So that tells me, that I can send my contractor email and say that we still need to collect on these accounts. A lot of times it's the customer's portion, or there was a change order, or there's something else that changed in the job. And so we didn't get all of our money, but that can add up really quickly for a roofing company when you've got 10 or 20 of these jobs that haven't fully been paid. So that is a place where we can actually help roofers and we can help them save money, because as specializing as a bookkeeper in roofing, that is what our goal is, to get their bookkeeping done accurately. We want to be able to track everything for them so they can make better decisions, so they can make higher profits, so no money gets lost in the gap of anything. So this is our sole job when I look at working with a roofing contractor that I want to do. I want to make sure I'm giving them the best possible service so they can have high profits, whether they actually need to increase their prices because our profit margins aren't high enough. That's another thing that we do look at if we're not getting 50% profit margin. My goal is to achieve 50% because I know with 50%, it will definitely cover our overhead, especially our advertising and in-house salary. The other labor is in our cost of goods themselves, so that is in the profit margin already. Okay. But job costing, it is a process. It's a step-by-step process. So it is not just about the softwares, because a lot of times QuickBooks, they don't know anything about the CRMs, even though that they are connected together. QuickBooks, they know their system. And then these other CRMs, they know their system. But there always is a gap in between these two systems, and us as bookkeepers, we have to make that gap smooth. We have to map it out so it does connect correctly, and it gives us good data and things to help the roofing company. Okay. I always make a few bullet points of what I do want to speak to you guys about. QuickBooks doesn't fix job costing, your system, and I really believe in systems of doing the bookkeeping, the job costing, even, going over the financials. We have a good system in order to give the contractor reliable data and reliable reporting, and not just in a profit and loss. I actually take some other worksheets that I do that's just a weekly worksheet to help with our cash flow, and then I will feed that into AI and get a better description of everything that's easier, that's not in accounting terms, for the contractor to understand. And that has really helped a lot, I think, in my business too, because the roofing contractor has other people that he's working with too, or she's working with too. They might have a sales coach, they might have some other type of business coach as well, and they're reporting to that person as well. So this helps keep the communication open and clear. So that's important. Now, in the next video, I'm going to walk you through how job costing actually works inside a roofing company, step by step. This was an overview of how it works, but we're going to get into more detail with that. And I would really encourage you to join our bookkeeper connection, whether you're a bookkeeper or whether you are a roofing contractor. We have both in our community. It's over on school. There's a lot of things to offer you over there. And then in April, I will be doing a special training on job costing and CRMs in the community. So you want to be sure and sign up there. It's free. There's no cost to it. And then I'll get a request that you want to join it. And then there's just a couple questions just to make sure that you are a bookkeeper or a roofing company, because I don't want any marketers getting in there. And in the roofing business, there are a lot of marketers that are after contacting roofers about all kinds of different things. So I try and keep it a very safe space for everyone. But then once you join Bookkeepers Connection, then when I do that training, then it will be live. And then after the training, you would be able to ask some questions too. But that's what we have coming up over there. But be sure and sign up for that if that is something that you're interested in learning. Okay? But thank you so much for today and tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed this video and you can start taking some steps to implement some job costing, or just get an overall feeling of how it works even in QuickBooks. In QuickBooks, you can go to projects, and it's similar to what it would be like in a roofing CRM, but it's not near detailed, and it's no customer service in it. It's just the numbers in it. You're not a big enough roofing company yet for the subscription and everything with one of the CRMs. You haven't at that level yet, then you can still use projects in QuickBooks and it will still help you. We can still help you with that. But thank you, and I hope that you have a fabulous weekend. And I will talk to you next Friday. See you then. Bye bye.